first met in Cambridge 5 years ago. Their previous house had been a 2-up, 2-down terrace, with a scullery at the back and a lean-to outhouse in the backyard for the toilet. All the cooking had been done on a solid-fueled iron range in the kitchen next to the scullery. Washing had been done in the basin in the scullery, using hot water heated in kettles on the coal-fired range. Baths, which before they'd taken once a week, had been in a tin bath brought into the kitchen from the hook where it had hung just outside the back door to the yard. It was half filled with a mixture of hot water heated in saucepans on the range and cold water from a tap in the scullery carried through in a bucket. The same bucket had been used after bathing to empty the tin bath. Daniel and Abigail had shared the same bathwater, taking turns to go first. 1 week it would be Abigail, the next Daniel, and so on. Unless both of them had had an unfortunate accident, like falling over into a pile of horse manure in the road, in which case it necessitated filling the bath twice. Now they had a bathroom indoors, with hot water available from the tank above the boiler. They also had an indoor toilet, which meant no more trips out to the outhouse in the depths of winter holding a candle or an oil lamp. No more having to listen to the scuttling of rats and mice in the backyard. "We should have done this years ago," he thought. The change had come the previous year, after Abigail returned from leading an archaeological expedition to the pyramids in Egypt, funded by Arthur Conan Doyle. Abigail, who had gained a classics degree at Girton College at Cambridge University, had already established a reputation as a highly esteemed archaeologist for her excavations and researches in Egypt before she met Daniel, when he'd been hired to investigate a murder at the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge. At that time, Daniel had not long established himself as a private investigator after many years serving as a detective at Scotland Yard. His most notable work had been as part of Inspector Aberline's squad investigating the Jack the Ripper murders. Although that case had resulted in no convictions, it had cemented Daniel's reputation as Aberline's sergeant and a brilliant and dogged detective. Unfortunately, the hierarchy of the Metropolitan Police, and especially at Scotland Yard, valued sticking to orders from on high above detection brilliance. That had led to Aberline resigning from the force, with Daniel following shortly after. Abigail's return from Egypt the previous summer had led to them both realizing that this relationship was one that was forever. And so, after years of deliberating and putting things off, they'd married, and the former Abigail Fenton became Mrs. Abigail Wilson, although when giving lectures and talks on archaeology, she was still billed as Abigail Fenton. "It's important you keep your own name," Daniel had insisted. "You've spent your career building the reputation of Abigail Fenton, not Abigail Wilson." With marriage had come the move. Daniel had always been the reluctant one. His house in Camden Town, small and lacking all amenities, had been the one secure place in his life. Abigail never complained about it, even though she'd come from a far more comfortable background in Cambridge. It was Daniel who said, "We're both nearly 40. We don't want to be lugging a tin bath around as we get older and have to put up with going out into the dark whenever we need to use the toilet." And so they'd moved. Not far, just a mile or so. But the social distance between Primrose Hill and Camden Town was enormous. And the glory of sitting on this balcony, as he was now, and looking out over the acres of fresh greenery from his own house, filled Daniel with a happiness that was almost overwhelming. "Enjoying the view?" Abigail stepped through the French doors of their bedroom to join him, settling herself down on the other chair. "I am," said Daniel. "And I was just thinking, we should have done this years ago." "We're doing it now, and that's what counts," said Abigail. She held a single sheet of paper, along with the envelope from which she'd taken it, in her hand. "A uniformed messenger has just delivered this." Daniel frowned. "I didn't hear the bell ring."